Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's Moments of Clarity. This is your boy, Charlie Tubbs III. I do thank you for coming and spending another Tuesday with your boy. I appreciate it. Today is another great Tuesday, and I have another phenomenal guest. Today, we're continuing our life coaching series, and I have my good friend who's an amazing life coach. The Successologist is what they call him out in them streets. Mr. Charles Johnson, he's here with us today. We're going to have some great conversations. So just listen, strap in, open your minds, open your hearts. There's going to be a lot of great information that's going to go forth on this particular podcast that I feel is going to encourage you and sharpen you in a special way. So when we come back, we're going to be right back with Charles Johnson, the Successologist, on today's Moments of Clarity. Hey, so today we're here and we're with my guest today, Dr. I'm calling him Doctor because he's a doctor in the making.
What's good? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I don't have you muted. I can hear you, so just talk.
I can't hear you.
I can hear you. Oh, man. Okay, so do you want to adjust and come back in? Oh, you can't hear me, though. Charles Johnson,
did.
He's... Can you hear me now?
Let me see. If I hit that and go audio.
So should I just keep talking until let me know when you can hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, Doc.
Oh, man.
Don't stress, man. Let me know if you can hear me.
It's going to be really good because
it's going to be good, sir. I want you to know.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yes.
I can't hear you though for some reason.
All right, so I'm gonna lock you. I'll come back in. Oh, he'll still see it. I'm gonna remove. Let's see. All right, cool. So we're having a little technical difficulty. So listen. So I'm gonna cancel this live and then I'm gonna come right back and start it. Let me see if I can get it back. Though. Hold on. I may. Are you here, sir? Can you hear me?
My phone is all the way up.
All the way up, all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. I can hear you, sir. And you can't hear me.
I don't know what to do.
All right, I'm gonna see if you.
My camera works, but my mic sounds nice. Check one. I don't know what I did, man.
All right, cool. So he's going to go out and come back in and we'll get this Moments of Clarity started. Don't stress. It's technology, much like life. You know, stuff just happens, you know? And then in those moments, it's important that we don't lose ourselves. Because oftentimes, I talked about this in a live that I had a few weeks ago. It's important that we have to know what to lean into and what to lean out of. Situations come at us, sort of kind of just like that just happened with Charles Johnson. And we've got to be mindful and careful that we're not leaning into it. That means giving it the unnecessary energy that's going to obviously spike us and our blood pressure and spike us. And we can't be living around spiked and stressed, right? So we have to learn how to live life stress-free. And one way we do that by knowing what to lean into. Right, so we won't lean into that as an error or as a problem. It's just it is a we don't take L's, we take lessons. Right, every situation is a lesson. So right, we get better in time. Right, life is designed to make us better, not bitter. Right, so be mindful what you're leaning into and what you're giving your energy to. Right, so things that come in to distract you, to throw you off your core, you lean out of that. You lean into more positive thinking, right? More great thinking. We're going to have a great podcast today. I feel it in my bones. I'm telling you, it's going to be off the chizang. You know, anytime little challenges come at you like that, you got to look at life that way. Like, ooh, it must be about to go down, because it is. And you know why it's going to go down? Because I got my boy back in the studio and he's here.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, brother?
Man, this is gonna be great. I promise.
It's gonna be off the chain, man. I already know it. I already know it. I said, "Ooh, this thing gonna be right today, man." Anytime we, and that's what life is all about, right? Oppositions, they come at us,
Yes.
and it is up to us. I was just telling the audience that we got to be mindful what we lean into, right?
Oh
What we
yeah.
give our attention to, because situations can come and throw us off track. But don't lean into that. Lean out of that and let that
Yeah.
negative energy pass. Let that negative energy pass by. Then lean into more some positive energy, because guess what? Things always work out in the end,
Oh
sir.
man, they always get better. If you give it time for it to get better, it will get better. But you're absolutely right. Whatever you give your energy to, your attention to, that thing magnifies. So if we would have took the little glitch that we had and been like, "Oh, it's over. I must not be meant for us to do it. This what's going on? What's wrong?" If we would have given that kind of energy to it, then it would have just magnified the problem. However, if you say, "Hey, look, it's a little bump in the road. This technology. Let's just work it out. We here, so we might as well work it out." The same thing happens when we are in life, period. You're always going to have some type of opposition, especially when you're doing something great, especially when you're doing something that might be a little bit outside your comfort zone. You're not quite sure how things are going to turn out. When you have those little hiccups, like you said, you have two decisions to make. One, you can say, okay, well, let's use it positively, or two, let's use it negatively. Now, nobody wakes up in the morning and just be like, I'm just gonna be negative all day. That's all I'm gonna do, is just be negative all day. Everything that comes to me, I'm gonna look at it negatively. Nobody does that. Unfortunately, that seems to be the default. The negative seems to always be the place where people feel like, I'm comfortable, it's okay, it's the right thing. However, when it comes to the positive, until you make it a habit, it's not going to be your default. So you're going to have to
Yep.
look for the positive. You're going to have to look for the good. You're going to have to look for the lesson. It's not going to just jump out there at you until it becomes a habit. But until it becomes a habit, you're going to have to really focus on it, and sometimes not even pay attention to what might be going on right in front of your face.
Right. And that's what life is all about, man. If we'll learn to look at life through a different set of lenses,
Yeah.
man, we'll be so clearer. You know what I'm saying? And we can, and it's possible to walk this life in a space where you're always peaceful, right?
Yeah.
and,
Yeah. And
and
that don't
and
mean
and
having a
and
smile on
always
your face
positive,
all day.
right? Yeah. Talk about that. That's real, man.
It is, because as successful as I am, as positive as I am, it doesn't mean I'm walking around with a smile on my face all day. It doesn't mean I don't have negative thoughts that come across my mind. It doesn't mean that everything works out the way I thought it was going to work out. No, being happy or being positive or having peace is all a decision that you make. And
Right.
you make that decision as soon as you open your eyes. Sometimes even teach people how to make the decision before they go to sleep. That when
Mhm.
I'm asleep, I'm peaceful. And just like this shirt says, somebody did. I'm not quite sure who that person is.
Oh, that looks like one of my shirts, sir.
Is it really?
Yes, sir. It is.
Seriously?
Yes,
Who'd have thunk?
sir.
Who'd have thunk
Yes,
it?
sir.
But you got to go in to get out. Happiness, prosperity, joy, love, all these things start inside first. You can move to any city you want to move to. You can go get any new job you want to get. You can lose as much weight as you want to lose. You can, cut all your hair off like mine. It all starts from the inside. And what you decide to do on the inside is what's going to be reflected on the outside. And I know, some of the real saved folk will be like, I'm just waiting on God to take it from me. I'm just waiting on God to do it. But listen here, it would have happened by now. He would have took it by now if it was just left up to him to take it. Some stuff you got to let go. Some stuff starts from in here. He already loves you. Now you got to work on loving you.
That's real. That's real. That's real as it gets, Reverend. And most people don't realize that especially even in relationships, it's like, how do you expect a man to love you if you don't even love yourself, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's over. So we have to. So that men have to put on an extra layer, and we got to tend to us and tend to you and tend to you and tend to you and it's all, and we end up being all over the place. It
Yeah.
is important that we all understand. So we're promoting two great shirts today, man. So one of the shirts you promoted that's on my website is you have to go in to get out.
Yep.
And dude, we didn't even plan this. I just happen to have the one that says self-love today. Crazy, right?
That's
Self-love.
crazy. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's
So
what I'm saying.
we in that pocket, sir. We in the pocket.
Yeah.
So Charles, I'm so glad that you had an opportunity, or you have an opportunity to be on this show. I'm
Yeah.
so grateful, man. You're a
Cool.
great guy. You're a great inspirational guy, and I appreciate everything that you bring to any situation.
Thank
You're
you, man.
always positive. You're always uplifting, and I appreciate that about you. So let's talk about you. Let's talk about you. Your brand. Are
Okay.
your tag is you're the successologist.
Right.
So help our audience get clarity about what that means to you, and then what that means for them too.
Well, for me, being a successologist is that I study all things success. And what I mean by that is especially the success mindset, what successful people do, purpose, things along those lines, even when it comes to the spiritual aspect of success. Now, what that means to other people is that if you're looking for your life to improve, you're looking to get a different mindset, a different perspective. If you're looking to break negative habits, if you're looking to get rid of the blocks, be they energetic or spiritual, that keep you from being as successful as you want to be, that's where I come in. I am that person that's not really your friend. I mean, I'm friendly, but it's not like I'm your friend. I'm your coach. I'm the person on the outside that's saying, okay, these are the things you say you want to do. So let's go ahead and start setting those things out so you can get those things done. One thing that I did not have starting out was a coach, because, I was under the impression that I knew everything and I knew how to get out of, whatever it is that I need to get out of or change myself. But then it did dawn on me that, man, if you could have got out by yourself, you would have done it by now. You would have been able to get rid of this or change or whatever the case may be. And oddly enough, that change started happening when I got in this argument with God. Now, people kind of look at me sideways when I say that, but and I'm sure it was me doing the arguing and not him. But I'm pastoring this church, still pastoring this great church, great people. Their lives are increasing, they're doing well, but it was not translating to my personal house. And no blame on anybody, but it just wasn't translating to my personal house. So one day, now here in North Carolina, you can make out arrangements on bills and make payments and that kind of stuff. And I had done it in the past, but this particular time, they didn't give it to me. And this was one of those days where I really needed this to work out. And you're probably familiar, Charlie, you're probably familiar with the song, Don't Push Me Because I'm Close to the Edge. I'm trying not to lose my head.
Yes,
But
sir.
that day I lost my head, doc. When they did not give me that extension, I lost it. I went upstairs, grabbed the keys to our car, told my wife I'm gonna be back. And she like, where you going? I said, I'm gonna be back. And so she knew if I'm not really open with where I'm going, she knows, okay, there's something wrong. Something done happened. So I jump in the car, and man, I am hollering, I'm screaming, a little bit of tears is flying, I'm cussing. I'm like, okay, God, if this is how I'm supposed to be, man, I am done. I can go work a 9 to 5 or whatever I got to do instead of doing this. And I'm, doing the right thing. All these other guys around me got all kind of scandals and stuff going on, and they're going to court and getting caught up with all this other stuff. And I'm doing right. I'm doing right. I am doing right. And it's still not coming together for me. So I'm going back and forth with God probably a good 3-4 weeks. Every time I see a scripture or something, I would close my Bible. I was just fussing. So about 3-4 weeks in, I'm driving down the road again, hollering and screaming. And the scripture comes across my mind, for as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Mm-hmm. And so, saved people, spiritual people, oh, that's the answer that I needed. Oh, thank you, Lord, for speaking to me. It wasn't enough. It just was not enough. I didn't understand the scripture. I didn't understand nothing he was saying, nothing he was talking about. So I heard it again. So after I heard it, I was like, so what are you talking? I'm screaming now. I am screaming in the car. I know people were sitting beside me like, okay, we need to call 911 because this black man is going bananas in his car. So I'm screaming in the car, and I heard it's not my fault. It's not my fault. And I'm like, okay, now what do you mean? What I'm doing right now, what you mean? All I'm going, it's not your fault. That makes it my fault. Exactly. And I lost it. I lost it. What do you mean? I plan to be where I am. I did all this. Scripture comes back. As a man is thinking in his heart, the Hebrew word actually means soul, mind, will, decision making. As he think, ETH on the end of that word think, it means continually. His dominant thought, whatever that guy's dominant thought is, one translation even says, so he becomes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, you mean to tell me I thought myself here? This financial frustration, even some of the physical issues I was going through, you mean to tell me I put myself here? Absolutely. Absolutely. How you think about you, how you think about what's possible, what's not possible, how you think, what part God plays, and what's all of that got me to where I was. And then I said, okay, then, all right. If I can think myself in it, I can think myself out of it.
Good
Now,
job, sir.
the vast majority of my background has been that of church. So I know what it is to run around the building, get oil slung on you, you lay on the floor, and you get up and nothing change. I know that whole thing. I know the whole grabbing the ear. I know the whole going to the conference. I know the whole get the book and the DVD series. I know all of that. And then a month later, it's still the same way. Now, in my mind, I'm like, now, if all of it, if all it takes is hollering and screaming, we would have had it by now, man. All the hollering and screaming we doing, and I don't have no problem with it. I've done my fair share of hollering and screaming and running around the building and the organ going and the band, and I love it. But if that's all it took, I would have had it by now. So apparently, there was something that I was missing. And what I was missing was the understanding of how powerful how I think is and what comes out of my mouth. And the other thing I realized, that ain't got nothing to do with being Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist. All that's got to do with is being human and how God's created you, period.
That's the realness, man. That is the realness.
Period.
And so it's interesting, man, that you were saying that I know you was talking about earlier that you said if all we could do is holler and if that was enough, then we'd have had it by now. It's so interesting because we talked about this, I think, on yesterday, how some people ain't let that hollering go, even throughout this process. People
Yeah.
are streaming church at home and they still it's like, come on, man. Talk to the people. Let the saints.
Right.
This is some talk time. This is what's needed. People need clarity. They don't need noise.
Right. And dramatics.
Right.
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 This whole pandemic, for one, has been a blessing for me because it opens up another avenue for me to be able to impact and help people. But at the same time, it's also taught me how to pivot. If you look at a lot of these major corporations, McDonald's, Hardee's, all these major corporations, many of them are pivoting. Even the guys that were selling alcohol, like Jack Daniels and vodka and all that kind of stuff, these guys have pivoted. And the reason they pivoted was because they realized either we're going to have to kind of go with the times and see how we fit into that, or we're going to be left behind. Now, what has happened is we haven't learned that in the church yet. I won't say the church like it's the grand church. What I'm talking about as far as at least black church is concerned, most of us haven't learned it because we still hollering. Number one, we still trying to have a praise team. Number two, and we still trying to treat people as if we could treat them like we did before we got here. And that time is gone. Now, certainly there's some people going back into the building and all that kind of stuff, and I get it. There's something about having, the gathering together, and I get it. But don't miss the opportunity that you have right now to connect with people, to connect with them. because the hooping don't connect. It just sound good. It's an emotional expression of how we worship. That's it. So now we have this window of opportunity where people can get to know who you are. You can give some solid insight, not just biblical, but now you can either now reach into the culture and pull things from the culture and say, this is how, I feel like we ought to deal with such and such and so and so. What do you think? Or this is a great opportunity for you to bring in other elements of who you are. Like, people are not used to seeing your wife cook. Bring her into let them see what she do, how she act, how y'all work together, or how you don't work together, either one. But this is just the greatest opportunity that we have, not only from a secular perspective, but even from a spiritual one. Right now, not last week, week before last, no, last week, guy from the United Kingdom, from the UK, was on my live. Now I'm sitting in North Carolina, and this guy in the UK is on my live and sends me, well, oh man, it was such a blessing. Thank you for doing and saying what you said. Now, if we were before now, I would be stuck right where I was back in, talking to however many people were there, and half of them ain't giving and they don't want to be there. So now I have the opportunity to talk to people that actually want to hear what I got to say. It's a blessing. This is huge.
So what do you think, Charles? What do you think is that false balance? Why do you think people can't transition to modern? Because that is a global issue.
Yeah.
It's not. You can go to any given city in America and probably throughout the world where there are Christian churches. You'll see churches that are stuck, that are just can't move forward from being stuck in 1942 or 82.
Right.
I saw a pastor with a curl, so that's 82, right? That's around 82.
With a curl?
A Jerry curl. I was like, oh, that's 82. Go ahead, man.
He don't have no friends. He don't have no friends.
I mean, he's stuck right there, and he's still wearing the same guard. I mean, see the same stuff from 82, bro. He's sitting there, and I'm like, oh no. I've seen it with my own eyes. I'm telling you. So
Wow.
what is that makes people stuck, and particularly in religion, that they can't move forward? Because when you talked about the secular, you see the secular is a progressive movement forward.
Yeah.
What is it about church that's stuck in this? The saddest word to say is conservative nature.
I think, well, one, nobody taught us it was okay to do it. Nobody said it's okay to change, even though we see change, all around us. One idea that we have, and at least I know I was taught, that anything different is demonic. Anything different is demonic until you get enough people doing it. Now, this is no knock on our Caucasian brothers and sisters, but all we had back in the day was pray. The little two ladies at the front, the devotional work people, leaders, and they would say the devotional service is now open, and we had a choir. That was it. But then our Caucasian brothers and sisters started coming up with praise teams. Now you only got 4 or 5 guys up there with a guitar or whatever, and then we were like, maybe that's okay. So let's do that. Then we fall right in. Then they get smoke and big stage, and now we got smoke and big stages. They brought in dancers. Now we got dancers. It's just, for some reason, we feel like that we cannot change until enough people are doing it, and we feel like that because I change means I don't believe the way I used to believe, and that's not true. If you look at everything that God has ever created, it's always changing and evolving. It's always growing. It never stays in one form, in one way. And what a lot of people don't realize, especially our spiritual leaders don't realize, there's no format. You can't point to the Bible where the Bible has praise teams in it. We came up with that. That's our thing. So then, when the rest of the world is shifting and moving, what we have to discover is how we can shift and move without compromise. We're not going to compromise anything. However, I've got to learn how to communicate the way the world can hear me. How much sense would it make for everybody else to have a cell phone, and you still got a rotary phone with the long cord at the house? Really? Is that what we're doing? And what sense would it make to have a Jerry curl? A Jerry curl. When you can do a whole lot of other stuff with that, bruh. What kind of sense does it have to still have the Steve Harvey long, you remember the Steve Harvey long coat suits?
I've seen it with my own eyes that they still wearing them.
I cannot. I don't get it. Well, I get it, but I don't get it because I grew up apostolic. So we didn't do nothing. We could just barely breathe without going to hell. So I mean, so I understand. I get it, but at the same time, we're gonna have to learn how to evolve with the culture, so the culture will listen. We got to get people to listen. And if you are not, like, you remember we talked yesterday and how your people are still on the phone. I talked to my daddy today. He's 92 years old. Okay. So he said, well, tomorrow night we're going to be doing Bible study on the phone. Now, Charles, y'all doing Bible study. They call in, right? I'm like, no, Dad, they don't call in. I said, well, how do y'all do it? I said, we do it right there on Facebook. Really? I'm like, yes, sir. We do it on Facebook. But see, that is the mentality. That is the mentality. Even dress. Before when we were going to church, you couldn't go to no shirt, no church, no jeans, and no t-shirt. Man, you better get out of here. But now it's okay. But we never let it. We always followed it. And now we get an opportunity to lead it. And for some of us, we still don't see the opportunity. We still ain't seen it.
That's what I'm saying. So,
man, the pandemic will be over. And they'll be like, where'd everybody go?
So that's a rub for me. I always have been. So and so a part of me is trying to think, like, what is it with the psyche of religious people, and probably particularly, I guess, church people, that they cannot. That's always been a rub for me, because I've always tried to be a progressive person, progressive thinker, and so being around people that's just like, no, 82 is all right. It's like, no, it's not. You're missing so many other opportunities. What you just said, opportunities to be a better version of yourself.
Yes.
So I say this a lot because I know that it's true that we do need to be intentional about challenging our own ideals.
Yes.
And I think that's an issue. That's an issue. I think globally, not just in church, but sometimes what church calls the secular too, challenging our ideals, challenging the way we think. Now, it's always interesting to me as it relates to religious people, because Scripture talks about that a lot, about changing the way you think, changing your mind, and you're like, okay, what didn't click with you right there? What happened? What didn't click? So that's always interesting to me, how people can't progress, even though the Bible is as conservative as some parts of it is very extremely progressive as well, and people can't see the progressiveness of it,
right?
And that's always disturbing to me.
And a lot of it has to do with getting an understanding of what the Bible said from somebody that couldn't read. They didn't understand it, so they just passed on what they were able to glean from it, and part of what they gleaned from it was completely wrong, and so they just passed it on and passed it on. Now, the fault that we have now is that we are living in the information age. There is nothing that you want to know that you cannot know, especially if it's like public, regular information. So then we have people that are still dealing with, or still treating the Bible as if it's only conservative, and it can be very, very conservative, like you said. But at the same time, there are parts of it that says things like, ye are gods. But we don't want to hear that. No, the Bible just said, ye are gods. We don't want to hear things like power, death, and life is in the tongue. We just want, that's what it says, that we are literally co-creating. That when he blew into Adam, it was more than just lungs and a kidney. And it was more than that. That he has literally given us the ability to be able to create. The Bible even talks about energy. It talks about vibes. It talks about, and I don't use those words, of course, but that's the thinking that is being put in there, that we are wonderfully and fearfully made, but because it's uncomfortable, we shrink it down into what we feel like is okay for us to be able to do or say. Because when I'm doing some of the seminars that I do, and I talk about, I'll give you a good example, those vision board party things, those vision board parties.
Yeah, sure.
The first thing I tell them, okay, this is not going to work. Your vision board is not going to work. And again, I get that side head look like, okay, then why are we here? And I tell them it's not going to work because you don't understand who you are. So we're going through and we're putting the pictures together. And I said, well, now from this point forward, I'm not going to call you by your name. I'm going to call you God. And they look, no, don't call me God. I don't want to be called. I don't want to be called God. No. But I said, the scripture, we just pointed to the scripture. The scripture said, ye are God. Even Jesus told the scribes and the Pharisees, didn't your scripture say that ye are gods? Now, the way I'll make them feel better is that we didn't say you are God. He said, ye are gods. You are administrators. You are his ambassadors. He's put power in your hand. When I leave this house and my son is here, he becomes God of this house. I am the God of the house. But when I leave, he becomes one of the gods, one of the administrators of the house. So when they asked me during the vision board party thing, one lady asked me, well, does this make sense? I said, I don't know, God. If you wanted to make sense, how much stuff in our life has happened in our life that did not make not one lick of sense? And did God ever respond? Probably not. Because it's him. He's putting it together. But we don't want to, that's too far. We don't want anybody to think that we are gods. But he told us we were. It's like somebody trying to convince you you're not black. What? I'm looking at myself every day. Right. I have black parents. Come on.
Right. So I think what we're dealing with is, I think I said this on my live, and I say this a lot because it seems that we're dealing with levels of maturation as it relates to the way people think. Because I think the church just has a limited vocabulary as it relates to terms and adjectives, because like you use the word gods, ye are gods, but then when you flipped it and say administrator, I understood it when you first said gods. But some people can't now. Now people are like, oh, maybe so. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a limited vocabulary of what certain words mean. And so, like I saw on Facebook, man, this artist was like, hey, man, we got to be careful. And we're calling God the universe. And I'm like, what's happening? What's going on? And there's like, God is not the universe, he's God. And I was like, it was just, sometimes people have a limited vocabulary of what things are. And I think we just gotta, why do you think that is? Because it seems like we're going in circles saying the same thing. There's a limited vocabulary, the way people think, the way people see God. And obviously the way people see God says a lot about the way they see themselves as well.
Exactly.
So it's just like, God, you see God in such a small way. No wonder you think small of yourself.
Yeah,
right. God is trying to shine through you. God is trying to be big in you. But when you think God's small, you think you're small. You know what I'm saying? But when you think your God is big and that you can, that all these scriptures support everything that we're saying. Like, I can do all things through Christ's strength. But you don't believe it apparently, because you're limiting yourself every day. With the way you think, with the way you communicate, with the way you think about yourself. You're constantly limiting yourself and self-sabotaging yourself. So, God, how do we help people? How do we help people to see, I guess, God bigger, perhaps? Because then as they see God bigger, then perhaps they see themselves bigger.
One of the things that I was not trained to do or brought up to do or programmed to do was to praise myself. to say how good I am, how wonderful I am, gifted, talented I am. I was programmed to see my frailties first, what I didn't do well, not to receive compliments. Don't think bigger of yourself than you ought to. All of that was put in me. So even though I know what the scriptures say, because of the way I have been programmed to think and to believe, there is a disconnect between the two. So what I had to learn how to do first was to talk about and to focus in on who I am, because you're absolutely right. How I see myself is exactly my relationship, the relationship I'm going to have with God. Because if I'm always calling myself filthy rags, if I'm always saying that I'm never good enough, I don't deserve it. If we come up with all these songs about, I'm a sinner, I'm down and I'm tired, and all of those, we are literally programming ourselves to be less than who he has created us to be. So what I had to do was I had to practice looking myself in the mirror and saying, I am wonderful, I am loved, I am creative, I am healthy, I am rich, and all using all these I ams, and only talking to myself, even saying to myself, Charles, I love you. I love you. God loves you. You are wonderful. He is so happy and proud of you. All these things, because I've been programmed not to even look for it. And for most of us, we have been programmed that way as well. You don't compliment yourself. That's prideful. You don't say how wonderful you are. No, that's being haughty. That's a haughty spirit. And people don't even understand what the word means. They don't know how to spell the word. So we have to practice talking about ourselves the way God does, because God is not sitting around trying to figure out what's wrong with you. He knows what's wrong. So why not just concentrate on what's good? Let's just talk about what's good. Some of my private coaching clients, I take them through an exercise where I say, okay, write down the top 5 things you like most about yourself. Just write those things down. Oh, that's easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, good. Now that you're happy, give me 5 more. And they were, okay, now, okay, all right. And then they struggle, get me 5 more. Give me 5 more. They're like, I don't have this much stuff. Yes, you do. You're just not used to looking for it. And once you look for it, you're not used to paying attention to it and applauding yourself that, yeah, that is good. I did do a good job on that. Yeah, I am the bomb cook. I am the bomb wife. Yes, I am good at what I do. And I want everybody, no. So what we have to learn how to do is to praise ourselves. And the more you get comfortable with praising yourself, you'll get more comfortable. Your God will grow. If your theology or if your understanding about God is not growing, then you're not in the right place. You're not doing the right thing, because there's a Hebrew word, bereshit. It's really the beginnings with an S, and you hear it initially in Genesis. In the beginning, God created. Now, the Hebrew word actually is with an S, in the beginnings with an S, which would cause us to think that this is not the first earth. And then if you look further down in the scripture, you'll find out where, if this is a new earth, he said replenish. You can't replenish unless there was something taken. And then you watch how God started over with the flood. He wiped out everybody with water. So if God can start over, why can't you? If God can do it, why can't you do it? You absolutely can. You can start treating yourself better. You can start loving yourself. You're paying attention to what you like and what you want, and be okay with what you want, because it takes nothing away. Me saying I love me takes nothing away from my love for my wife. Nothing. Me saying I'm great takes nothing away
or
from
your
your
love for
greatness.
God.
Say it again.
I'm just saying it doesn't take anything away from your love that you have for your wife or your love for God.
Absolutely. He's not mad. You're not doing anything to him. I'm gonna prove to God. No, you're not. You can't.
Yeah.
Stop trying to do that.
Yeah, this is a great conversation, and we can spend right here. This is a good pocket to be in too. I also want to talk about your the Movers Academy.
Yeah.
Talk about what that is and how people can be a part of it.
Mountain Movers Academy is my attempt to provide um, some video lessons. Sometimes people, because I know everybody doesn't know me and I don't know you, so you got to kind of get used to me, and we kind of get no like and uh no like and something, no like and trust factor. I get it. So what this is an attempt to do is to provide you some videos, some video lessons, things you can handle on your own. And it gives you some places to start, especially if you are just getting into this and you say, look, I want to change my mind. How do I do it? I want to get more consistent. Also, there's an opportunity for us to actually get on the phone. It's absolutely free to you to get on the phone. Let's have a conversation. Let's see what you really want and see why you don't have it. And then we grow from there. It's self-study right now. People can go in and they can watch the videos as many times as they want to, whatever the case may be. But it's my attempt to really help them get the ball rolling without having the pressure of talking to me every week or all that kind of stuff.
Okay, and so it's an academy that people can go join. So the website the link is below.
Yeah.
It's www.mountainmoversacademy.com.
Yeah.
Please check it out, and you can find out more about my bro Charles Johnson out in these streets. So now, what type of life coach you said? So you're a successologist. So you sort of kind of help people to be successfully as an individual, be a successful human first, and then successfully impact the world. I mean, how do you go about it?
Well, actually, my specialty is mindset development, and that includes things like getting rid of energetic blocks that you have. It also deals with literally how to change the tape recorder, that tape recorder that's playing in your head. I show you exactly how to do it. I give you methods and I give you techniques on how you can, over a 90-day period, really begin to see your life shift, especially when it comes to bringing things into manifestation. Now, even though my concentration is mindset, I get into some of the spiritual things as well, as you heard. Also help people from in their life, their business, their careers, whatever the area is in your life. I customize that plan so we can bring those things into manifestation, whatever they may be.
That's pretty dope, man. And so this is a way that people can connect with you directly through your website. Now your do you have clients that you see on a regular basis too?
Yeah, I have personal coaching clients, and I have this virtual academy as well. I have a private Facebook group that I talk to personally every week. So wherever a person is, some people want the personal one-on-one. Some people are like, no, I can do it myself. Then there's other people like, I want to be in a group, so I can communicate and develop some relationships with other people. We can kind of support each other. So in all those three areas is how they can work with me. And be that, secular or spiritual, it really doesn't matter.
That's dope, Reverend. Man, you are a great guest today.
Thank you, man.
For people that aspire to do what you do as a life coach, I know some people that are just great motivators, and you just gotta have that sort of kind of naturally in you to sort of kind of work in this space. But it can be developed over time.
Oh, yeah.
So for someone that aspires to be in the space that we operate in, what would you encourage them to do?
Pay attention to your own story. What did you do? What things did you what process did you use to overcome? What process did you go through to, develop a great marriage, to get in shape? Those stories are where your coaching really kind of comes from. Even what books did you read? If you did affirmations, what affirmations did you read? Use all those things. Again, you always want to look in first. We see the Tony Robbins, we see the Brendan Burchards, we see the Eric Thomases, and we're like, I don't have it like them, or I can't speak like them. But if you notice though, all of them, started with their own individual stories. And the people that resonate with your story are the ones that will start coming to you. Those opportunities will start opening up for you to come and speak because somebody resonated with your story. And look, there's a group of us that have the same story. Come speak to us. We want to hear what you have to say. Oh, how did you do it? If you can, do your best to lay out what I call a skeleton, meaning this is where I was, this is where I started, this is what I started doing, and this was the result. And then start expanding on that skeleton. Start plugging your story in. Start saying, okay, this is what I did. This is how long I did it. This is who helped me. This is who didn't help me. This is how I felt. All these things really start helping you to understand who you are as a coach, because you can't coach anything you haven't been through. Mm-hmm. You can't tell nobody how to get there if you ain't gone. So right. That's what I would tell people to want to get into this space, because it's always needed. Don't think that this is saturated, because it's not.
Right. And I think it's important that people learn to understand and value their story. One thing that I always try to encourage people to recognize and within their own life and just in general is that all of our life journey, each one of them is individualistic. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of this life journey, is that everybody has a different path. Now, there are some similarities, so we can connect with each other, and that's why we have relationships. Because we come in contact with people that we have things in common with, or we going through some of the things with, and so those type of connections build our social systems that we have. But it is important that we fall in love with our story, the good, the bad, the ugly. All of it was designed, individualized just for you to be the most amazing version of you possible. That's why you got to fall in love with your story. Your story is your brand, and your brand is your money, baby.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, let's not start talking about money in church, boy. We please. You know how taboo that is. Oh, God.
The saints get disturbed.
They start feeling stuff in their spirit.
You just vexed me. You said money, right?
No, not money and church in the same conversation.
Oh wow, man. So Charles, so tell us a little bit about your journey. Tell me about an obstacle that you had to overcome in your life that helped you to build your brand as a successologist.
I call them mountains. I had low self-esteem, low self-worth, low self-image, and I was what you would typically call a people pleaser, because it was attached to, if you like me, that meant I like myself. I found worth and value in myself. I must have been doing something right for you to like me. So when you didn't like me, it affected me. It affected my self-worth. It affected my self-image. There must be something wrong with me. I'm not worthy of you to like me. All those kinds of things. So the first thing I had to do was recognize what it was. That this is what it is, Charles. Don't spiritualize it. Don't make it into something that it's not. This is what you are dealing with. When you walk into a room, you're already minimizing who you are in the room. Charles, that's not good. This is what it is. It's low self-image, low self-worth, low self-esteem. So then, after recognizing and calling it what it was, the next thing I had to do was recognize it, point it out when I'm feeling it. The moment I am feeling it. And it would only happen in certain environments. If I had to speak somewhere, if I was preaching somewhere, if I had to stand up and do a presentation at something, that's when that feeling would come over me. So what I had to do, being who I am, I had to talk to it. I had to be like, no, I recognize you. I recognize that feeling. So then I have to face that feeling and talk to that feeling. Charles, you did a great job. Somebody gives you a compliment, accept the compliment. Just accept it. Say thank you. I appreciate that, and learn how to accept it. Now, once I started doing that, it's not so much that it went completely away. I liken it to being like in a stadium where you're on stage and you're performing, and you got a guy sitting on the very front row with a megaphone hollering your name, just while you're trying to do what you do. It's just in the microphone. So then the better I got at it, it didn't stop. It just moved further back. And then it moved further back. And it moved further back. Now I know that it's there, but it's way up in the nosebleed now. So I don't really pay attention to it. Now, if I let it slide, it'll start coming right back down to that front row. So once I learned my self-worth, my value, my self-image, I begin to be able to look at myself in the mirror and say all those great things, and feel and start being okay with saying it. You get past the icky feeling of, oh, I just said that about myself, till, yeah, I am good. I'm really good at this. Matter of fact, I'm one of the best ones I know at doing this.
Right.
If you come around me, you gonna leave different.
That's
now,
right.
I couldn't say that years ago. I was like, well, I mean, I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying. You know what I mean? I mean, I might be able to help you. I mean, but if I can't, I'll find somebody that can't. All of that. No, but once I was able to get over that, and sometimes people get uncomfortable when I say, I love me. Every day I probably kiss my hand about 5, 6, 7 times. Just kiss myself. My wife's not around. She can't kiss me. Look, I'll kiss me. I can kiss me.
That's right.
That was one of the biggest things, because again, the way I was programmed is that if you didn't like the idea, if you didn't acknowledge, if you didn't appreciate or applaud, that meant there was something wrong with me. So
no, and I think most people deal with that if they'll just be honest. And of course, there are levels of honesty, dishonest, obviously, that people deal with. And I always try to tell people that it's important that you let other people lie to you, just don't lie to yourself.
yeah.
Go ahead and lie to me. Go ahead and lie to me. But what I will not do out in these streets is to be lying to myself. The worst deception is self-deception. And I think that is what self-love is all about.
Yeah.
I love what you just said, man, because it's something that we all have to do. We do have to tend to our ish. And most people don't like to do that. You do have to confront yourself. You do have to deal with your own issues.
Yeah.
If you realize that for instance, if you're going into in and out of relationships, there's something wrong there that you need to challenge about yourself. What is it about me, one, that's attracting all this riffraff?
Yes. Yes. If it's the same type thing over and over, 100
you
people can all
have
be wrong
to
now.
Yeah, you have to challenge those ideals. You have to challenge. There's something wrong if you are attracting the same thing all the time.
Yes,
it says more about you than it does about the riffraff.
Exactly. Because again, going back to some of the things that we talked about before, we are magnets to everything in our life. What's outside of our life is only a reflection of what's inside. So if I keep bringing in these individuals, you don't blame the fruit. You start looking at the root. The fruit is just the end result. So if I'm bringing in these same people, then there's got to be something that I am doing. Now, we can recognize, okay, I recognize it's what I'm doing, but we don't want to work on that. I recognize it. Yeah, it's me. But as soon as you say but, you close down every opportunity to grow and improve. And just because you have this, don't make you some kind of bad, horrible person. Actually, it makes you a better person, because now you're growing. You're becoming a better person, because now you're able to look at your inconsistencies, your habits, things that you think are just regular everyday things that people do. No. Does it still work for you right now? Right now, I had this challenge to lose. My trainer challenged me to lose 20 pounds in 45 days.
Okay.
20 pounds in 45 days. So I had to start asking myself or challenging myself to do something different than what I was doing before. So that meant I had to possibly do more cardio, increase my weight, certain weight, the amount of weights that I lift while I'm in the gym. Certainly I got to change my diet. What are you eating? You know, how much water are you or aren't you drinking? You know, all that kind of stuff. And it's uncomfortable. I don't like it because I want to eat whatever it is I want to eat. I want to drink whatever it is I want to drink. But does me sitting down in front of the TV with a pizza on my lap going to get me to 20 pounds lighter?
Right.
No. See, you have to start asking yourself, okay, what am I doing? What am I putting off that I think is okay? It's not getting me what I want. You see, a lot of us, we think that prayer handles everything, and it doesn't. I have no issues with prayer. Everybody ought to pray. But there is some stuff you see right in front of you that don't take prayer. Stop doing that. Stop being with that person.
Right.
Stop going over there.
Right.
And your problem will be solved.
Right.
But again, we don't want to work on those things that actually help us to grow. We don't want to challenge ourselves because it's uncomfortable and it hurts.
And it's supposed to be uncomfortable. This is we're all in class, and at the end of the day, here's the thing, and this is what I try to help people with as it relates to change. The reason why we were actually all designed to change, all of us.
Yeah.
And it's proof, you know, and the Bible is so clear about understanding the natural, and if you understand the natural, you get the spiritual. Right?
Yeah.
So one thing that people have to understand as it relates to change is that all of us, everybody, every living thing on the planet was designed to change. And one way you know that's true is that your body changes without your permission.
That's right. I'm a witness. Oh, I am a witness. I'm like, what is going on?
Listen, your body changes without your permission. You don't have to. All you got to do is just keep doing what you're doing. And you got that young metabolism at 18. Hold on. I'm telling you. It won't always be that way. And you do have to be a little bit more intentional about getting the weight off and keeping it off. So,
yeah.
Charles, I don't know if you knew this, but our name is Latin. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
No, so we have the same name, Charles, Charlie. There are people that call me Charles. I'm good with it.
Oh, yeah.
It's all the same thing. So it's the same name. It is a Latin word, and it means several things. But the two things that I love that it means is that Charles and Charlie means strong.
Okay.
And my favorite definition of the word is there is a method to his madness. Sir.
Yes, I have been helped today. I am not crazy.
Sir, I promise you, when I realized that was the definition of who I was, I didn't even realize how much I operate in methods. And even though I may not even know why I am doing what I'm doing, if somebody asks me the why, I have a method to it.
Yeah.
There's a reason to my why, and a lot of times I'm just moving, and I know a lot of it is God's guidance, but I'm just moving, and I don't even know why I'm doing or why I moved to do that. But if somebody says, "Hey, man, why did you do that?" I guarantee you, I'll have a method to it. It's the way I'm wired. So I do everything. There's always a method to my madness. Yeah. And for some people, it may be like, that looks strange. Just hold on to see what the ends. I'm telling you, hold on to see what the end's going to be. Yes. It may look like it's madness right now, but trust me, there's a method to it, and the end is going to be beautiful. That's just how we wired, bro.
I've already seen it. I've already seen the end. You know, all the other stuff is just process, you know, get me to where I know I'm going to be. You know what I mean? Again, going back to this whole weight thing, you know, there's a combination of having a vision, working that vision, and then adjusting that vision. You know what I mean? There's a process to it.
Absolutely.
So when I'm walking, I know right now I'm not 20 pounds down. So I'm not concentrating on what I am right now. I'm concentrating on what it's going to be like when I'm 20 pounds down. How am I going to feel? How are you going to do your walking? How strong are you going to be? So while I'm out here walking with my weight vest on, I see what my body's going to be, and I'm telling myself, this is who you are. This is who you are. This is who you are. Now, that's done now almost on autopilot. But most people, you gotta be purposeful about doing it. And it's not going to be comfortable. You're not going to like it. It's going to hurt. Your legs are going to hurt. You're going to wake up sore in the morning, and you're going to ask your body is going to ask you, okay, when are we quitting? Because we don't like this. This is totally outside of what we're used to. But everything is hard until it's not.
That's right.
Everything. Eating that dozen of donuts Krispy Kreme donuts I used to eat, it was hard till I got used to eating 12 all the time. After a while, I got used to it. I couldn't eat no less than 12. So
that's it. This is 12 is where we start. That's the minimum.
Minimum. That's why we always order 2, because they knew I got the first 12.
I'm telling you, don't you come in here with no just 12 donuts. You're in trouble. Oh, you must be fast. Right, you must be fasting today, because all these are mine.
All these mamma jammers.
All
man,
these,
I wouldn't even feed the kids. I'd be like, no, you don't need that donut. And if you eat it, don't waste it. Don't waste it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Listen, I'll never forget this one time when I was somebody, I think one of my cousins or something, they were trick-or-treating, and weird enough, we went to somebody's house and they was giving them like those the little donut holes, but they're from Krispy Kremes.
Oh yeah.
And of course I took it. I said, ooh, don't trust that. Don't you trust that at all.
Right.
But you let your uncle take care of that. I got it. Let your because I can digest that the right way. You don't trust food come out of people's house. You don't trust that.
Don't do that.
But I smashed them joints. Like, listen.
All that white on your mouth. Don't worry about that.
Yes, it's all good. We're gonna throw these away. Oh no.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh man. Yeah, man, that's life, man. But yeah, so I appreciate you so much. Thank you, man, for taking the time out to be a part of this process, man. And this was a great live. I hope people were inspired by it. There was so much great information and so much content that went forth that was just great and that was just easy to grasp and easy to catch. That if you're open, man, your life can shift. I mean, some of you probably experience some shifts, or as you're watching it or go back to watch it, you're going to experience some shifts just from watching this. I mean, it's just that much great content going forward, but you got to be open-minded, man. You cannot, there are very few absolutes in life. Very few. Yeah. And the moment you realize that there are very few absolutes, that you can start opening your mind up to some better opportunities. Because if your thinking doesn't change, how can you prosper even as you're supposed to prosper, even as your soul does? Right. Your soul, your mind, your will, your intellect. Yeah. So as that prospers, so will you. But if you never prosper up here, if you constantly think less of you, if you don't practice self-love, and if you don't send up, Charles, let's promote them. That's good. If you don't go in to get out, that means go inside of you. There's treasure on the inside of you. Yeah. But if you never tap into that stuff, then you're wasting life hours. You're wasting life space. And I'm telling you, and this is a little deeper, so we're gonna probably have to have another live about this. This is a little deeper. What you don't realize is that your DNA is actually trying to correct itself.
Ooh, wee. Yeah, that's a whole, oh man.
That's a whole nother something.
Yes,
I'm telling you. So we people, especially in the religious realm, we talk about generational curses and blah. Your DNA is trying to correct itself. It is up to us individually to correct our DNA.
Yes.
And it's trying to correct itself. So when you get a doctor's note, like, okay, I have type 2. Okay, correct that. Correct the behavior so that your DNA can correct itself. And that stuff won't show up in your kids.
Yes. Yes. We accept so much. We just accept so much as, we say, well, it is what it is. No, it's not. It really, really isn't. You've been taught that. You've been
Yep.
programmed to think that way. But I'm telling you, it's not. And I get it, because people had it. That means so. But no, it's not true. If you would, like you said, be open. I've talked to so many people that fight for their sickness. They fight for whatever disease they got. They fight for their poverty. They fight to remain mad, to remain lonely. They fight for this stuff, man.
That's crazy.
It is. I put my fist down. I'm tired of fighting.
I know you're right. So our job as life coaches is to help you to tap into you so that you can heal. Yeah. The world is waiting for all of us individually to manifest. Each one of us has a contribution to give to this realm to make it better. It only starts when you start self-loving you, taking care of you, right?
Yeah.
So that's as a final thought, Charles, before we get out of here, man, leave with a final thought. How do we encourage people to just tap in? It's so important that people learn how to check on themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
And tend to themselves, tend to their ish. So how can we encourage people to do that, man? It's so important.
Well, first of all, let me tell you, thank you for this opportunity. I really, really appreciate being able to come on and share with your audience and on your platform. I think that how we begin to self-love is, number one, find out what it is you like. What do you really like? What do you get enjoyment out of? And start allowing that thing to come back into your life again. Also, be okay with loving you, and learn that loving you does not mean you love somebody less. For most of you that are watching right now, many of you are the ones that are holding everything together. You are the one everybody comes to for advice or support or shoulder to cry on or whatever. So you loving you is so important to other people still being able to survive and do and function at the high level that they do. So understand your importance. Understand how you are important to how everybody else operates. And if that's the case, and I believe that it is, it's most important that you stay sane, and most important that you stay healthy. So that means learning how to say no to certain things, learning how to not get involved in certain problems and issues, learning how to recognize who the people are that are your energy vampires. All they do is bring bad news. All they do is take things from you. Also, learn to recognize those people that are actually supporting you. When you win, they actually clap, or they recognize when you need a break. They recognize that right now, don't need to bother with that. We can handle it. Start recognizing those people. Start looking around at yourself and who is around you, and seeing how much you're giving out versus who is willing to reciprocate what you have already put out. You loving you is the most important thing you can do, because many times you loving you helps other people function. So if you got to go get your nails done, if you got to get your toes done, if you got to get your weave tightened up, bruh, if you got to go and get the car washed, if you got to go play golf, if you got to go to the gym, whatever it is that allows you to function at a high level and it has nothing to do with anybody else, do that thing. Because I'm telling you, if you fall apart, everything else around you, all the other people that's dependent on you, they'll fall apart too. So I need to make sure I'm good. I need to make sure I'm straight. My self-care is good. I'm loving me because I know it affects other people.
Man, you are spot on, man. Spot on. So thank you so much, man, for being a part of this talk time. Thank you for all of you that are watching live. Thank you for those of you that will be watching this later. We appreciate you. You can follow Charles Johnson on Facebook. He's also on Twitter under his tag the _Successologist. Follow him on IG as well. And he's a great guy. He's a great guy to know, but he's also a great coach to have for those who may be looking for a coach. And you can also connect with him through his website, www.mountainmoversacademy.com. Check him out, follow him, connect with him. He's a great guy, and I'm so glad he was able to be on Moments of Clarity today. Bless you, sir. Man, I love you, brother.
I appreciate you.
I love you, brother.
Love you, man.
Man, please hug your wife for me, man. I love you guys so much, man. And we'll see you next time, man.
Appreciate you, man. Many blessings.
All right, brother. Bless you,
All
bro.
right.
So that was Charles Johnson, the Successologist, man. He's the bomb.com. He's a great guy, and he's a life coach. He's on in North Carolina. Please support him. Please reach out to him. Please connect with him on the website that we provided below. We have a lot of great things coming up. This coming Tuesday, I'm scheduled to have another Moments of Clarity with a great artist, a great creative, Delwyn Island. I'll give you more information about that. I'll probably post a flyer either today or first thing tomorrow morning. He is a worship pastor. He's a singer. He's a songwriting writer. He and I have written some music together. So we're going to be back in this creative series on Thursday. So please come back for Moments of Clarity. Also on next Tuesday, I'm going to start this arts and entertainment series, and I have some great guests that's going to be a part of that. As well, we're going to be talking about the industry. So for those of you that have interest and want to be a part of the music industry or the entertainment industry, check us out next Tuesday. I have some guests that are moving and shaking already in the industry, in the entertainment industry. I have my boy Walter Thomas, who's the CEO and founder of Agency 22 Arts and Entertainment. My girl Nicole Hayward from Houston, my homegirl Nicole is going to be a part of our Moments Clarity on next Tuesday, and she's the owner and founder of a creative classic agency out there in Houston, Texas. And then the homeboy Chris Ayers from Universal Music Group is going to be a part of our live on next Tuesday. So definitely come back and be a part of this. Please like, tap, share, and follow. We do appreciate you guys. We stream on Facebook as well as YouTube, so you can follow me on YouTube and get more information about some of the shows that we're doing here. But then also we do some other things on YouTube. I so appreciate you coming to spend time with me on this another Tuesday. It's Moments of Clarity Day, and Tuesdays are for Moments of Clarity. So I appreciate your time. Until next week, stay positive, stay creative, tend to yourself. I'll put the link in the website so you can get the shirt that I had on, and ironically, Charles Johnson had on one of my t-shirts as well. You can get both of these t-shirts at my on my website. It's www.l3gurbanwear.com, but I'll post it in the comments below. You guys have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you on Thursday. This is Charlie Tubbs signing off. Moments of Clarity. Stay positive, stay creative, and stay clear.